I saw recently this quote, "The universe is under no obligation to make sense to you." When I first fully was shown by life that miracles are real when I was 21, and for me it was conclusive. For me, there was enough synchronicity, enough insane, impossible things happening, spirits visiting, bizarre synchronicities, that one thing guiding me to the next thing for months, not days, months, every day, living under this spell. And it felt like a fantasy movie or one of these films. I just didn't believe any of it was possible. So once I knew that, I started to try to rely on grace. Started to try to kick back and put my feet up and just say, okay, well, I know you're there. Game's over. And in a way, the deepest question was, what the fuck? Why this mess of a world? And I know you're there. So do something. Take me out of this game. Take me to another place. I was challenging life to answer me. I know you're there. I'm calling you out. I went on my walk south with a toothbrush and a extra pair of clothes and a backpack, nothing else, no money. I had been planning to walk forever, as a lifestyle. I had seen so much vast power in the way life could express itself that I had complete faith that anything could happen. I slept in piles of leaves, in shelters along the Appalachian Trail, in abandoned buildings, in people's garages, on park benches. Synchronicity followed me like a bad habit. Somehow I was fed each day without asking. I was guided to things and people every day in ways that weren't explainable. Grace was there. Instead of the bigger fireworks of my initial awakening, I was getting a practical curriculum, it seemed. It was teaching me the ABCs, like how powerful giving and receiving is. It also taught me the power of speaking my truth in this world. That when we tell our stories, when we tell our truth in this world, it spreads a light. I was led consistently to teachers and insights. I was shown that the real gains happen quietly, behind closed doors, in the intimacy between you and your truth. At the end, down in Miami, 4.5 months in, I started getting signs. I was in a homeless shelter, actually, and a random stranger came up to me and he had a hard hat on. He pointed directly at me and he said, "God wants you to get a job, son." And then he walked away. It was only a few hours later. There was a rainstorm and I was sitting under a stoop with another homeless man, and he felt my hunger and offered me half of his sandwich, and I gratefully accepted. And he said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm on a journey and it has a sort of spiritual purpose." And he said, "Oh, good. I'm glad it has a purpose. Because everything with a purpose has an end. Because everything with a purpose has an end." And he looked at me knowingly, and I felt inside of myself that a bell went off, that it was my time to go home. It was time to get a job, son. And that was the truth. And I knew that somehow, even though everything is so vast and powerful, that we're here for some sort of reason, some sort of job, and that I had to start living myself into this world. And yeah, it's true. The universe has no obligation to make sense to me or you, but it does listen and it does respond, and you can dance, play, get a job, give what you're here to give.